Hey guys, Michael with Verus Engineering. We've got our VB WRX here. We're going to utilize this blank space to install a brake cooling duct kit, and we're going to get to what comes in that kit right now. Here we're looking at all the parts and pieces to our brake cooling kit for the VB. We've got the actual hoses that run from these ducts to the brake dust shields, and then we need 2 zip ties to kind of tie the hoses up out of the way. The die cut 3M VHB tape that will go on the back side of these ducts. The templates for where to cut on the front of the bumper, and then a couple hose clamps to attach each end of the hose. Here we have all the tools we need to install our brake cooling kit today. We've got an impact to remove our wheels. We use that with a deep well 19mm. We use a shallow 19mm to remove our brake calipers. We're also going to use a 12mm socket, a 10mm socket, and an 8mm socket, as well as you can either use a 5mm Allen socket or an Allen key, either way. You can use some mechanics wire or brake caliper hangers to hang up our calipers. Use some side cuts to go with that. You have a paint pen to mark on our template where we're going to cut. I used a 12mm ratcheting wrench to remove the hardware for the OEM backing plates. That's completely up to you. A couple ratchets, a trim tool or a pocket screwdriver, and a reciprocating saw to make some cuts. Optionally, you can use a drill with a 1/8 drill bit to cut a slot we're going to do a little later in the video, but that should be all we need. Feel free to mix and match what you like, but let's get to it. First thing we're going to need to do is get this front bumper removed. So we start with popping the hood from the inside of the car, kind of by your left knee area. Get the car up in the air safely, whether it be a lift like we are or a jack and jack stands. If you do have a front splitter, that needs to come off first and then remove the front bumper. I'll walk you through taking off the front bumper once we remove our front splitter. In order to install our brake cooling kit, we are going to have to remove the wheels. It's going to make getting to these bumper clips in the wheel well a little easier as well. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. The factory size is a 19mm. So go ahead and remove both front wheels. Once you have the wheel off, I wanted to point out this style of clip and the style that's going to be underneath the bumper. So underneath the perimeter of the bumper, there's going to be about 10 of these push pin clips. You're going to pull, I use a pocket screwdriver, you can use a trim tool as well, but you get under that, focus, and pop that center out, and then it should come out of the bumper. Get you in on these. These are a little different. These ones in the wheel well, there's going to be 2 per side. You actually push in the center, and then you can get up under it and pull it out. And then when you reinstall it, you're going to push the center of it back through, like so, right there. And then you would put it in the panel and push the center back in to lock it in place. So these are a little different. Go ahead and get both of these removed. Go ahead and repeat that on the other side. So now we've lowered the car back down. We've gotten the 2 clips on either side in the wheel well. We've got the wheels removed, and we've got the 10 clips around the bottom perimeter. So now we're going to work the top perimeter. There's going to be 3 plastic push clips, exactly the same style as the ones underneath the car. Maybe. And then there's going to be 2 the exact same as the ones that are in the wheel well. So those 2, those are on either end. Then there's going to be 6 10mm head bolts that go in as well. At that point, we will remove the rubber weather strip and the metal frame that goes with it. Just kind of set it up to the side. Don't forget that later. Once you have all of your perimeter push clips to the bumper removed, I like to come up in this front corner, and if you have fog lights, undo those before we try and take the bumper off. So there's going to be a push clip here. It'll be a bolt if you have one of our front splitters. A push clip here, which we should have already removed from the bumper, and then a 10mm right here. So I've already got this 10mm out and all the clips. So now it just kind of pulls down and back. And then I'm going to bring you up in here and show you how to unclip the fog light. Here we have our fog light connector. And this is the push clip for it. I'm going to push that down, push down, and pull off. Just like that. So push that down and pull back. We're going to go ahead and repeat that process on the other side. Bumper's ready to come off. Just a little recap. We've got 6 10mm up here, 3 of the center pull out push pins, 2 of the center push in push pins, 2 wheel well clips, 10 clips underneath. We've removed the fog light connectors if your car is equipped with it. And now the last thing we need to do, there's going to be along here, there's 5 little clips and 3 more right here. I've already done it on the driver's side. So you grab the bumper and the fender garnish. This garnish will come off by itself, but we don't want to do that right now. So grab the bumper, both layers, and just pull out. Pull out, disengage all of those. And now we'll want to pull the bumper forward towards you. And that's when the bumper will release. So pull it towards you. I grabbed from the headlight area. Go ahead and pull her off. Okay. Once we have our front bumper removed, we're going to go ahead and prep for our brake shields that are going to go on. I'm going to keep the caliper as an assembly and go ahead and remove the bolt, 2 mounting bolts for that. They're 19mm head bolts, and they can get pretty tight, so you can either put your ratchet on there and hit it, or you can put your ratchet on there and hit it with a little rubber mallet or dead blow hammer. That's a good option as well. I'm going to go ahead and spin these out. Make sure you have some mechanics wire or like a brake caliper hanger ready, and because you don't want to hang it from the brake hose, it can cause damage. So go ahead and spin these out. There you have it. Those are the bolts you're going to be taking off. Tie it up out of the way here. Once you have your caliper up out of the way, we want to address the rotor. Mine, this car's low miles, rotor comes right off. That might not be the case if you live in the Midwest like us. So you can either, we're going to need to reuse this, we don't want to damage it. You can either use a rubber like dead blow hammer and hit it from the back, or Subaru has provided you with some threaded holes. Those are M8 by 125, so you can thread a bolt in there, work it back and forth, and that'll walk the rotor off without actually damaging it. So I'm going to remove that and look at our brake shield. Brake shield, we're going to have 3 fasteners. Those are going to be 12mm fasteners. I'm going to remove that so we can install our cooling duct one on. Here's our new backing plate. It's got our duct already installed on there. The duct is going to face above this ABS wire. It's going to be on the front side of the knuckle. And then we're going to reuse 1 OEM fastener, that 12mm head, in this front one. And then on the top and bottom one, we're going to install 1 spacer. 1 spacer goes behind the backing plate, between the backing plate and the knuckle. with our new flanged bolt. Start that. And the same thing on this bottom one. The spacer goes behind the backing plate. And our new bolt. This one remains our 12mm. These two are going to require 5mm Allen now. So I'm going to get those tightened down, and then we'll repeat the process on the other side. I wanted to bring it up close and personal to the back side here. So this is the actual duct. You can see there's really good clearance on that ABS wire, and then the ductwork is actually going to run underneath the ABS wire and then back towards the front of the car. Here I've got the passenger side of the bumper, and this is what should come in your kit. It's a cutting template. So, as you can see, it fits real nice on there. Literally just lays in place. Make sure it's all flat. And grab yourself either a paint pen or a silver Sharpie, whatever's going to show up on your bumper the best. And we're going to go ahead and trace this out. We're going to cut on the outside of this line. Give us enough room for that to pass through. Alright. Well, something like that. I'm going to grab my cutting tool and start getting this cut. I'm probably going to use a combination of a Dremel cutoff wheel and a reciprocating body saw. It's personal preference, whatever gets the job done. Just a small warning, if you're going to use a Dremel of some sort, you want to cover up everything around. It's going to be slinging hot plastic everywhere, and it'll stick to the paint and everything. Not a good thing. So if you use a body saw, that's not super necessary. So that's what I chose to use. I've already got a cut started, and we're going to finish it up here. And go back through, kind of clean up the edges, make sure that trim piece fits through there. I need to point out here on our template to when you trace the line, especially on this edge here, you want to cut to the inside of that line. We need to retain this section of the bumper here because that's what's going to clip on our brake duct. Those clips kind of sandwich that. So you need to either angle the saw towards the outside as you cut, or physically cut closer so you don't end up cutting that off. We do need to add a line here for a tab to slip through. You can either trace it and cut it with a body saw as well if you're comfortable with that. What I'm going to do is take my 1/8 inch drill bit. I'm going to drill a hole at either end. I'm going to drill a couple in the center. And then I'm just going to use that drill bit again to connect the dots. You can go back through and clean it up, but that is the idea. Now that we have that slot made, we actually need to extend it into this larger hole. So that tab, the duct slides in at an angle, so that tab needs to slide through this the entire way. So we're gonna complete this line here. A couple more holes. Connect the dots. There's that. Go through, clean it up a little bit. So guide that tab into that slot. After you clean up all your shavings. And there we are. are on the back side. So we got our 3 clips here. We're gonna do one here, and then over here in the corner we'll do one on that tab. I'm actually gonna do that one first, and if you can, try and push the duct from the front side as you place this on to get it as tight to the bumper as possible. Those are on there, 1, 2, and 3. And do that on the other side. To give us a little more room, we're gonna remove this engine splash shield as well. So you're gonna be looking at 9 plastic push clips and then 2 10mm head bolts there. So pull these guys out. You can use a trim tool or a little pocket screwdriver, but got a couple on the bottom, and then in each fender well there's 3 that attach to the fender liner. Just like that. When we actually go to put the bumper on, we're gonna have the hoses connected to the back of those, and then we'll feed it into the car as one assembly. But I wanted to mock these up for you so we can visually see the routing. So this is gonna be from the duct. It's gonna go back around. You can do over or under the fog light harness, doesn't really matter. It's gonna go under the air inlet, above this fender well, and it's the trim piece we removed earlier. It's gonna sit towards the engine. It's gonna be inside, so that trim piece is gonna sit right here. It's gonna go inside, and then the hose will come around, start to run in line with the tie rod end, and then clamp onto the shield like so, going through where the ABS wire goes. And same on the other side. Go ahead and grab your bumper and an extra set of hands. Guide that on. That hose is gonna go kind of under the washer reservoir. Just gonna feed in under the air intake and through. We can get to the rest later. Once you got this baby on, you can go ahead and plug in your fog lights before you forget. Do this on both sides. We're gonna grab our hose that we've routed to this point, pull it. This big hole above the sway bar bracket is where we're gonna use the big long zip tie to tie the hose up out of the way. We're gonna run over the tie rod end and under the ABS sensor to get to there. Make sure you have your hose clamp. Go ahead and throw that thing on there. And make sure that none of the ends of this hose is folded over or anything. You can actually kind of put your hand through here to help feed it onto the ductwork. Go ahead, slip this hose clamp on here. Start tightening it down. These just need to be firm. You don't want to damage the actual duct. So a little tight, pull on it, make sure it doesn't go anywhere. And then you're gonna put the hose between the tie rod end and the sway bar link, and then we'll zip tie it here. Like I said, it goes through that hole above the sway bar bracket, through the subframe, and around. You're going to be trimming off a lot of it. That's okay. You also want to be mindful that none of this is going to touch the axle. I'm going to go through, before I tighten this all the way down, I'm going to go through, do the other side, turn the wheel full lock, full right, full left, make sure I have enough hose out here to do both, and then lock it down. So it's roughly 14.5 inches worth of hose is what you need to be able to do that. But go ahead, throw your wheels on even, make sure it doesn't rub your wheels, and then tighten this down fully. I'm gonna go ahead and repeat this process on the other side, and then we'll go ahead and put it all back together. I'm going to take a second and show you guys where I zip tied my hoses to relieve some of the pressure on the ducts. So aside from this one back here on the subframe, I also did it right here on the frame rail. There's going to be a hole there on either side. This is the passenger side. And so if you actually pull back on the hose and then zip tie it down, it relieves some pressure, some forward pressure on the duct, so that it'll sit flat a little easier. So I did one there, and we do supply some extras, so if you want to add some more zip ties, you can do that as well. I wanted to point out here, there's going to be a couple pieces of some foam adhesive tape. It may be one piece, but you'll need to split it into about an inch per section. And this ABS sensor, it's a little close to the actual duct. So what you need to do is you can either remove that sensor or just mark where it is and put your foam tape there. But that's just so it doesn't rub that wire and protects it. Go ahead and do that on both sides before you put everything back together. And then we will go and throw the brakes back on. Once you have your brakes back on, make sure you tighten those bolts down. Factory spec if that's available to you. Don't forget that rotor. Go ahead and throw it together on the other side, and then we'll go underneath and put our engine splash shield back on. Click. Go ahead and put this back up there. Ooh. You may have to adjust your hoses depending on where they're routed. Just try and get this back where it needs to be. Shouldn't have to trim anything, just it'll apply some pressure to the bottom side of the hose. That is just how it's held up in there. Don't forget to put the two 10mm back in this front section. Make sure your fog lights are plugged in, both sides, which mine are. And we'll tuck this back up into the bumper. Put this 10mm in here. And then we'll get the rest of the clips that go to the bumper as well. Just like that. If you do have a front splitter, once you have this trim panel on and these two side panels secured, and the hose is routed, all the clamps are tight, you can go ahead and put that front splitter back on, and then drop the car down, throw the wheels on, and then all the way down on the ground, put the front bumper hardware back on, and then we'll be ready to go. Get your wheels all torqued down, finish putting all the bumper hardware on top, and now get your brake cooling ducts in. You're gonna notice some improvement of the actual brake temperature, lack of brake fade, because these Subarus develop some brake fade after a little while. So that should keep your brake temperatures down, your fluid temperatures down, and look good while doing it. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, just general feedback, contact us, support@verus-engineering.com, and enjoy your new ducts.